The bullet tore through the night, like a whispered curse. The city was asleep, but the silence was shattered by a scream, a woman wailing in the distance. Tires screeched, shadows moved, and in the middle of the street, under the flickering glow of a street lamp, Jay Rico lay motionless. Blood pooled beneath his designer hoodie, soaking the concrete that had once been his playground. The air smelled of smoke, gasoline, and betrayal. Somewhere, a phone buzzed inside his pocket, the screen flashing with a name he would never answer again, Mama. And just like that, the boy who had beaten the streets was swallowed by them. But Jay Rico wasn't just a victim. Before he was a legend, he was Jamar Richardson, a kid from Bankhead, Atlanta. A boy who learned to count by watching his uncles stack drug money. A kid whose mother worked double shifts at a diner while his father sat in a prison cell, serving time for a crime he never stopped bragging about. Jamar grew up knowing three things. 1. You either trap, rap, or die. 2. 3. Loyalty was currency. 4. 5. The streets don't love nobody. 6. Music became his escape. At 13, he scribbled his first rhyme in a spiral notebook with a bullet hole in the cover. The same bullet that barely missed him when a drive-by sprayed his block. By 16, he was freestyling on the corner, flipping pain into poetry. At 19, a viral freestyle battle put him on the map. By 21, he was Jay Rico, a rap sensation who went from ducking bullets to dodging paparazzi. Fame came fast, money even faster. But the past always kept up. Unlike other rappers who left the hood and never looked back, Jay gave everything to his people. He built a recording studio in his old neighborhood for aspiring artists. He funded scholarships for kids who had nothing but dreams. Every Friday, he bought out food trucks and fed the homeless. For a while, it seemed like Jay had rewritten the script, proof that a kid from the gutter could make it out and still uplift his city. But success breeds envy. And envy kills. Weeks before his death, Jay noticed something strange. A black sedan parked outside his mother's house. Unfamiliar faces lurking at his concerts. Late-night phone calls with no one on the other end. His closest friend, Tay, warned him, "You too generous, bro. Not everybody clapping for you want to see you win." Jay just laughed. "If I don't do it, who will?" He didn't know that generosity had made him a target. And soon, the streets he had tried to save would claim him back. The beat thumped through the studio speakers, deep and brooding, like a heart beating its final rhythm. Jay Rico sat in the booth, eyes closed, head nodding to the instrumental. His voice flowed over the track, raw and heavy, as if he knew, somehow, some way, that this would be his last verse. They say the love fake, but the hate real. I fed him plates, still they want me killed. I made it out, now they want me back. 6 feet under, laid out in black. His engineer, Dre, shivered as he listened. The lyrics felt too real. "Ayo, Jay, you good?" he asked, pushing the talkback button. Jay exhaled, eyes still closed. "Yeah, just been feeling some type of way lately." He didn't mention the black sedan he saw outside his house again last night, or the text message from an unknown number that simply read, "Watch your back." Instead, he shook it off. "Run it back. One more take." 30 minutes later, the session wrapped. Jay sat on the studio couch, scrolling through his phone. Tay, his right-hand man, paced the room. "You see that text I sent you?" Tay asked, voice low. Jay didn't look up. "Which one?" "The one about Big Murda." Jay stopped scrolling, looked up. "What about him?" Tay ran a hand over his face. "Word is, Murda's been asking questions about you, saying you owe him." Jay's jaw clenched. Big Murda, a street boss from their old neighborhood. "A man you didn't cross." "That was years ago," Jay said. "I gave him 50 racks when I got signed. Told him we was even." Tay sighed. "Yeah, well, you know how this go. Some dudes don't never let go of a grudge." Jay stared at his phone. Another unknown number had texted. "Time's up." He deleted it. "Man, I ain't worried. Let's roll." Outside, the night was thick and humid. Jay stepped into his black Escalade, Tay in the passenger seat. As they pulled off, A car crept out of the shadows, following them at a distance. Tay glanced in the mirror. Yo, you peeped that? Jay saw it too. Dark-colored, tinted windows. The same damn sedan. His chest tightened, but he played it cool. Yeah, but we ain't running, bro. Tay exhaled sharply, gripping something in his hoodie. Yite. They drove in silence, tension thick. The sedan kept its distance, never speeding, never turning away. And in Jay's mind, a question echoed. Had he just recorded his own eulogy? The clock struck 12:43 a.m. when Jay Rico's black Escalade eased out of the studio lot. Windows tinted like secrets. The bass from his newly recorded track still echoed in the back seat. And Tay rode shotgun, silent alert. They didn't head home. Not yet. Jay had one more thing to do. He always did. Stop by Ashby and Fifth, Jay said, nodding toward a strip where shadows danced under busted streetlights. Tay frowned. That's the block. You sure? Yeah, they still out there. Hungry. Just like every Friday, a blue food truck sat parked in the same spot, serving late-night meals to the hungry and the hopeless. And as always, Jay paid the tab cash. No cameras. No Instagram story. Just quiet generosity. The homeless knew him by name. The dealers nodded with respect. Even the young hustlers called him Big Bro. But this night felt different. A group of teens crowded him more than usual. One of them, thin, twitchy, maybe 17, asked a question that clung to the air. You really think they gone let you live? Jay froze for a split second. What you mean? The kid didn't answer, just smiled, shrugged, and melted into the crowd. Tay noticed, eyes narrowing. Who was that? Dunno, Jay said, still watching the corner. But he knew something. As they drove off, the same black sedan appeared again in the rearview. 2 cars back. Always watching. Always patient. Tay snapped a photo through the side mirror and zoomed in. License plates dirty. Probably fake. But they slippin'. Drivers wearing a hoodie with a BMC patch. Jay's stomach sank. BMC, Big Murda's crew. Why now, he muttered. I ain't crossed them in years. Jealousy don't expire, bro, Tay said. You fed the city. They want to starve it again. As they pulled up to Jay's gated condo complex, his phone buzzed. It was an unknown number. He almost didn't answer. Yo, a pause. Breathing. They comin'. Don't trust the driver. Click. Jay looked over. Tay, his brother, his day one. They'd bled together in the trenches. But for the first time in years, Jay didn't know what to think. He forced a smile. You trust me, right? He asked Tay. Always, Tay said. Why? Jay didn't answer. He just stared straight ahead as the gate opened and swallowed them whole. Upstairs in his penthouse, Jay went straight to his laptop, opened his security cam footage, fast-forwarded, rewound. He paused on a frame. Tay, 2 days ago, slipping a burner phone into the passenger side glove box. Jay's car, the same phone that had received the first threat. The betrayal was not on the streets. It was in the passenger seat all along. The night bled into early morning as Jay Rico sat alone in his condo, lights dim, the city skyline staring back through floor-to-ceiling windows. He hadn't slept. Couldn't. Not after what he saw. Tay planting that phone. His brother. His right hand. The one person he'd trusted with his life. The words echoed. Don't trust the driver. But Tay was more than his driver. He was family. And that made the betrayal worse. Still, he needed proof. One wrong move, and it could all be in his head. Or worse. Tay could already know Jay was onto him. Late morning. Tay pulled up out front. Same black hoodie. Same quiet energy. Jay climbed into the Escalade like nothing was wrong. But this time, his pistol was tucked beneath his hoodie. Where we headed? Tay asked. Studio. Then swing by Mama's. She said she making gumbo. Tay smiled like nothing was wrong. Bet. Let's ride. But Jay clocked everything. The nervous tapping of Tay's thumb on the steering wheel. The side glances every time they hit a red light. The fact that they weren't taking their usual route. They were headed somewhere else. At a stoplight near an abandoned strip mall, Tay reached into the glove box. Jay tensed. But Tay only pulled out a stick of gum and said, "You good, bro? You been quiet." "Just tired," Jay said, scanning the side streets. He noticed a black SUV parked across the road, engine idling. Another car? Same one from last night? He couldn't tell. Tay took a sudden left turn, the wrong way. "Yo," Jay said, "this ain't the way to Mama's." "Yeah, a shortcut. Ain't trying to hit that construction on Auburn." Jay's hand slipped down to his waist. His fingers touched the pistol grip. Something was off. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. Again. He answered. "Get out the car. Now." Jay's heart slammed. The voice was familiar. Too familiar. "Who is this?" he snapped. But the line went dead. He looked at Tay. "Stop the car." "What?" "I said pull over, bro. Right now." Tay slowed down. "You tripping, man. What's going on with you?" "Just pull over." The car rolled to a stop near a liquor store boarded up since the riots. They sat in silence. The engine ticked. "You plant that phone in my glove box." Jay asked quietly. Tay blinked. "What?" "The burner. The threats. You set me up." Tay's face changed, not scared. "Hurt. You serious?" he whispered. "After all we've been through?" Jay stared into his friend's eyes. For a second, doubt crept in. Then a gunshot cracked through the window, from outside. Jay and Tay ducked as glass shattered. Another shot. Then silence. Tay's arm was bleeding. "They followed us," he hissed, clutching his shoulder. Jay stepped out, weapon drawn, scanning the rooftops. No one. The black SUV from earlier? Gone. When he got back in the car, Tay was pale but conscious. "Look at me," Jay said. "If it wasn't you, who is it?" Tay swallowed hard. "You remember Dice?" Jay froze. Dice, his old producer. The one he cut off after he caught him skimming cash from his tour money. The one who swore he'd get revenge. "He's the one who gave me that burner," Tay muttered. "Said it was a gift. I ain't even know it had anything weird on it till you said something." Jay's blood ran cold. He'd been watching the wrong man the whole time. Jay Rico stood in front of his mother's porch, staring at the crooked wind chime she refused to replace. The melody was soft, haunting, like the last notes of a sad song. He'd just dropped Tay off at Grady Hospital, gunshot wound clean, but the message had been loud. "They want me dead." Now he knew who. Dice. A man who once called him little brother. A man he trusted with his first masters. The same man he cut off when he found out Dice was pocketing his money behind his back. But J.Y. didn't have time for revenge. Tonight, he just wanted to hold his mama, eat her gumbo, and feel something real, something pure. "Baby, you look tired," she said as she opened the screen door. "Come inside. I just put the rice on." He smiled, hiding the storm inside. "I'll be right back. Let me grab something from the car." Jay walked back to his Escalade, parked just outside the gate. The neighborhood was too quiet. No dogs barking. No music in the distance. Just wind and instinct. His fingers grazed the door handle. That's when he saw the reflection. A shadow behind him. He turned just in time to see a masked figure step from behind a parked car. Black hoodie. Gloves. Gun drawn. Jay reached for his pistol, but too late. The first shot hit him in the side. He stumbled backward, gasping. His hand fumbled for the weapon. The second shot caught his shoulder, spinning him against the car. But he didn't fall. The masked shooter stepped closer, aiming steady. But his hand shook, nervously, almost regretfully. Jay coughed, blood on his lips. "You ain't gotta do this." The figure didn't speak, just stood there. Then, as the porch light flicked on and Jay's mother screamed from the door, the shooter turned and ran. Gone in seconds. Jay collapsed to the pavement, blood pooling beneath him, as the faint sound of police sirens wailed in the distance. News spread like wildfire. Jay Rico shot outside his mother's home. Social media exploded. Fans gathered outside the hospital. Candles lit. Murals painted. Prayers posted. Everyone blamed the streets. Everyone suspected gangs. Everyone believed the same lie. Wrong place, wrong time. But Tay knew better. 2 days later, Tay sat in Jay's condo, playing the last recorded song from the studio session, the one Jay never got to finish. That's when a call came in. Unknown number. He answered. Too bad he saw your phone footage. The voice said, low, calm, icy. Tay's breath caught. Dice, he was gonna take you down with me. I just sped up the process. You're welcome. Click. Tay stared at the phone, the weight of the truth sinking in. It wasn't just about money. It was about control, about fear, about betrayal. Dice hadn't hired a random hitter. He'd sent someone Jay knew. And somewhere out there, someone still had the mask, the gloves, and Jay's blood on their hands. Jay Rico's funeral was a storm. Black suits, sunglasses hiding swollen eyes. The smell of rain clung to the air, mixing with the scent of roses piled high around his golden casket. Atlanta had lost a son, a voice, a lifeline to the streets. And somewhere among the mourners, his killer stood. Tay knew it. He could feel it. As the preacher spoke, as Jay's mother sobbed, as fans stood in clusters outside the church holding candles and blasting his music, the one who pulled the trigger was here. Watching. Waiting. Tay clenched his fists. Jay might be gone, but this wasn't over. That night, Tay sat alone in Jay's penthouse, drinking straight from a Hennessy bottle, replaying every moment leading up to the murder. Something wasn't adding up. If Dice had ordered the hit, why did the shooter hesitate? Why not finish Jay when he had the chance? And why did the shooter run? Then it hit him. The shooter didn't run because he was scared. He ran because he couldn't go through with it. Tay grabbed Jay's laptop and pulled up the security footage from that night. The grainy footage showed the shooter in the mask, lurking in the shadows before Jay ever stepped outside. Waiting. Hesitating. But then Tay noticed something else. Before pulling the trigger, the shooter lifted his gun and tapped his fingers twice on the side of it. A nervous tick. A habit. And suddenly, Tay's stomach dropped. He'd seen that before. Tay's mind raced. He had spent the past week thinking the shooter was some hired hitman, some gang affiliate Dice sent to do his dirty work. But this was personal. And Tay knew only one person who tapped their gun like that when they were nervous. KJ, Jay's own cousin, the one who always felt like he lived in Jay's shadow, the one who once said, "Ain't no room for two kings in one city." The one who had disappeared right after the murder. Tay's blood ran cold. KJ had been standing in the front row at the funeral, tears running down his face, hugging Jay's mother, playing the role of a grieving cousin. But now Tay knew the truth. KJ hadn't just been mourning. He had been watching to see if anyone figured out the truth, watching to see if he had truly gotten away with it. But he hadn't. Tay clenched his jaw. If the cops weren't going to get justice for Jay, he would. 2 weeks after Jay Rico's murder, Atlanta was still bleeding. Memorial murals glowed on brick walls, candles burned at every corner, and his music became gospel. But beneath the grief, something darker stirred, a quiet rage, especially in Tay. He had one name now. KJ, Jay's blood cousin, raised under the same roof, same meals, same blocks, the one who shared verses with him in their grandmother's living room. And now, Tay was almost certain KJ pulled the trigger, but the police didn't know that. They were still chasing ghosts and low-level gang theories. So Tay made a choice. If they wouldn't bring him justice, he would. Tay moved like a ghost. No calls, no social media, no distractions, just names, addresses, and questions. He started at the bottom. Old friends, weed carriers, even KJ's old manager. Most were too scared to talk. Some didn't even pretend they cared. But one, Mello, an ex-runner turned Uber driver, spilled. Man, KJ been acting weird since Rico passed. Moving like he paranoid. Sold his car. Ain't sleeping at his crib no more. Where is he then? Tay pressed. Mello hesitated. He'd been crashing with a girl out in Stone Mountain. Ashley. She used to be around y'all back in the day. Tay nodded. Ashley. The ex Jay cut off when she got caught stealing from his safe. The pieces were forming. That night, Tay drove out to Stone Mountain. He parked across from the apartment complex Mello described. Waited. At 2:17 a.m., a figure came out wearing a hoodie, head down, KJ. He walked like he carried weight on his back, paranoid, twitchy. He lit a cigarette with shaking hands, and Tay noticed something. 2 taps on the lighter before he flicked it. Same rhythm as the gun. It wasn't just a guess anymore. It was confirmation. Tay waited until morning, followed KJ to a gas station, then cornered him in the alley behind it. No guns, just fists, just pain. KJ turned, startled. Tay, yo, what the hell are you? Tay grabbed him by the collar, slammed him into the wall. Why'd you do it, KJ? Tay growled. Why'd you kill your own blood? I didn't mean to. KJ cried out. It wasn't supposed to go down like that. Then tell me what the hell was supposed to happen. KJ trembled, eyes wet. Dice said we'd scare him. Just a warning. Make him fall back. Said Jay was getting too big, too powerful, that he was blocking all of us from eating. I just wanted in, Tay. That's all. Tay's hands dropped. You killed him over ego. KJ collapsed to the ground, sobbing. I didn't pull the trigger on purpose. My hand slipped. He grabbed for his gun. Tay turned away, rage clawing at his chest. He could end him now. But this wasn't justice. It would only be another verse of blood. Instead of a bullet, Tay made a call. Atlanta PD, said the voice on the line. I got something for you, Tay said. The truth about Jay Rico's murder. An hour later, squad cars rolled up. KJ, still crying, didn't resist. He went quietly. As the door slammed behind him, Tay lit a cigarette of his own. 2 taps. Flick. Flame. A rhythm burned into his bones now. But even with KJ gone, even with the streets buzzing over the arrest, the city still felt quiet, because Jay was still gone. And justice, no matter how real, would never sound as loud as his voice once did.